Watch me lose 100 pounds on a cruise ship in real time. Imagine your body is the most advanced cruise ship ever built. Not a regular cruise ship, a magical cruise ship. The ship has a captain, engineers, cooks, maintenance crews, fuel systems, navigation systems. Everything needed to keep the ship running. Now, imagine every instruction for building and operating that ship is stored in a giant book. That giant instruction book is called DNA. DNA is your body's blueprint. It's the instruction manual you inherited from your parents. DNA versus RNA. What's the difference? The instruction book never leaves the library. It just sits there. So how does the rest of the ship know what to do? Well, that's where RNA comes in. RNA is the messenger. Think of RNA as thousands of little photocopies made from the instruction book. Whenever the body needs to build something or do something, it doesn't take the original book. It sends a copy. Those copies are RNA. DNA is the recipe book. RNA is the recipe card the chef actually uses. And that's important because the recipe card determines what actually gets cooked. Let's talk about obesity. Most people think obesity is simple. Eat too much, move too little, get fat, the end. But if it were really that simple, everybody would have the same results. And they don't. Have you ever noticed something strange? One person eats pizza, ice cream, fries, and soda and somehow stays thin. Another person looks at a cookie and gains 3 pounds. Doesn't seem fair. And in many ways it isn't. Because different people have different instruction books, different DNA, and different RNA signals. Let's imagine 2 children, Sam and Jack. Both eat the same lunch, both play the same amount, both sleep the same amount. Yet 10 years later, one is lean and one struggles with obesity. Why? Because their bodies may be receiving different messages. Not because one is lazy, not because one is bad, but because their biology is different. There's a gene called the FTO, also known as the volume gene. It's rather famous. Scientists often call it the obesity gene. Now that's not entirely accurate. There isn't a single obesity gene. Make that clear. But FTO is one of the strongest genetic risk factors scientists have discovered. Think of FTO like a volume knob. For some people, the hunger volume is set to 3. For others, to 8. Imagine you're sitting in a classroom. You're a little hungry, no big deal. Now imagine someone turned your hunger volume up to 8. Suddenly, food is all you can think about. You can still resist, but the game just became harder. This is one reason obesity isn't just about discipline. Some people are playing the game on easy mode. Others are playing on expert mode. What RNA messages control, RNA helps control that volume. The messages RNA sends can influence how hungry you feel, how full you feel, how rewarding food feels, how many cravings you experience, how much energy you burn, how much fat you store. Think of fat as a savings account. Let's talk about fat. Most people think fat is just stored calories. Not exactly. Fat is more like a savings account. Your body stores energy there for future use. The problem happens when the body gets too many messages saying, store more energy, store more and more energy, store even more energy. These messages often involve hormones. insulin, leptin, ghrelin, and many RNA signals. Now imagine your body has two buttons. One button says store, the other button says burn. Some people's biology, their store button is easier, and some people's biology makes the burn button easier to press. RNA helps decide which button gets pushed. MicroRNAs, these are tiny little switches. Now let's make things even more interesting. Scientists discovered tiny RNA molecules called microRNA. These are incredibly small, but they work like light switches. Now imagine a room filled with hundreds of lights. MicroRNAs walk around flipping switches on and off. Turn this gene on, turn this gene off, store more fat, reduce insulin sensitivity, increase inflammation, decrease inflammation. All day long, these tiny molecules help decide what your body does. Now here's the really amazing part. The switches can change. They're not fixed forever. I have obesity genes, so I'm doomed, right? This is where people get confused about genetics. People hear, I have obesity genes, and they think, I'm doomed. Nope, it's not how it works. DNA is the instruction book. RNA is the messenger. Something else actually affects the messenger. Your lifestyle. Exercise changes RNA activity. Sleep changes RNA activity. Weight loss changes RNA activity. Stress changes RNA activity. Food, even medications can change RNA activity. Think of it this way. DNA is the cards you're dealt. RNA is the cards being played. Lifestyle helps decide which cards get played. Now that's incredibly important because it means biology matters, but biology is not destiny. My story, 345 pounds versus 275. Let's use me as an example. When I weighed 345 pounds, my body was receiving one set of signals. More inflammation, more insulin resistance, different hormone patterns, and different RNA activity. As I lost weight, these signals changed. The biology of a 345-pound person and a 270-pound person is not identical. The body adapts, the messages change, and the system changes. And that's one reason weight loss often gets easier after you've been successful for a while. Your body begins operating differently. The cruise ship starts running on a new plan. Here's the future. RNA medicines. Now let's talk about that. Scientists are developing medicines that work directly with RNA. These medicines can actually change messages inside the body. Some are already being used for other diseases. Researchers hope future RNA medicines may help reduce hunger, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce fat storage. Can also improve your metabolic health. Imagine being able to edit the instructions being sent throughout the ship. That's how powerful RNA medicines could one day become. If there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. Obesity is not simply a willpower problem. It's a biology problem, a hormone problem, a brain signaling problem, a metabolism problem, an environment problem, and yes, sometimes a genetic problem. That doesn't mean people are helpless. It means they deserve understanding. Because nobody chooses their DNA. Nobody chooses their RNA. Nobody chooses the cards they're dealt. But we can influence which cards get played. And that's why exercise matters. That's why sleep matters. That's why nutrition matters. And that's why stress management matters. That's why medications like Mounjaro help some people, because every one of those things changes the messages inside the body. When the message changes, the results can too. If this hit different, subscribe. Real stories, hard lessons. That's wisdom earned. If you like what you're hearing, I do videos like this every week. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends. We all have issues, and anything that we can do to learn from each other, that's the greatest gift. Thank you for listening.